Wednesday the 15th, and we're back at South Queensferry for another walk. Quick weather report, it's not too good. It's going to be a warmer day, I think 16 degrees, but the forecast is for showers this afternoon, so we'll see how we get on. Our walk has actually started up behind us at the station at Dalmeny. Haven't got the bus here. And from Dalmeny, we're going to take the path down to below the bridge in front of us here, and then turn right and follow the coast round to a little village called Cramond, where there's an island, which when there's a low tide can be walked out to. But unfortunately, the tides are not with us today, and it's going to be high tide by the time we get there. But it should still be a pretty walk along the coast, and I'm sure Cramond will be quite nice too. The walk down from Dalmeny does include a few steps. Quite a few steps. But going down's okay. Going up is where the problems occur. As the rest of our route is going to be following the coast, there should be no hills. Walking down steps, particularly slippery and muddy steps, whilst doing a selfie video, it's probably not the brightest thing I've ever done. We almost dropped the phone then. Unlike last Monday, the Bikers Cove is open today. So teas all round, a haggis roll for Karen and a bacon roll for me. All in the shadow of the rail bridge. The route we're following does have a name. It is the John Muir Way. I don't know where it starts and or finishes, but we're doing a little section of it today. Looking out over the Firth of Forth, behind Karen, we have a tugboat, and beyond that, Dalgety Bay, which we walked past when we did that section of the Fife coastal path a couple of days ago. And over to the right of this, we do have an oil terminal. Not so pretty. We have a beach, and unlike the beach at Dalgety Bay, this one has sand. So a hard person may be quite happy to sunbathe here. They'd have to ignore the view behind me though, because that's not so pretty. Unfortunately, there is no escape from the signs of the damage that we're doing to our planet. We're still a far cry from the filth on the beaches in Indonesia though. I think those little black lumps along the shoreline here are coal. That would align to the port at Dalgety Bay being used for the export of coal all those years ago. According to Wiki, the coal was transported down from a place called Fordell to St David's Harbour at Dalgety Bay. That would be the main harbour, which is now developed into a housing estate. Coming around this headland, which is called Hound Point, well, that little island, I think is Hound Point. But as we come around the point, we get some amazing views. Beyond that clump of woods, we can just make out what I think is Barnborough Castle. I probably pronounced that totally wrong. Now there's a cool little gaff right on the beach. Looking at the footings on that veranda, it would appear the sea is closer to the house than it once was. I wonder how long before it disappears into the sea. A bit like it did a couple of days ago when we walked down from Belerno, when we were down by the Union Canal. The sun has come out and the temperature has shot up. So far, we've done all right with the weather. But this is Scotland, so who knows what's to come. According to Wiki, Barnbougle Castle is a 13th century tower house. Not surprisingly, given its age, size and location, it has a rich history. It is restored, and I'm going to take a wild guess that it's occupied. And I strongly suspect that the current occupants won't want Karen and I walking across their lawns. So we need to head back inland and find the path. In the greatest tradition of Scottish weather, not 5 minutes since our blast of hot sunshine, but it has clouded over and started to rain, albeit lightly. Moving on from Barndougal Castle, we have passed Delaney House, I think it's called. A big grand old house, unfortunately covered in scaffolding, sitting in the grounds of what looks like a private golf course. The wind has picked up significantly, and again it is raining. After that little clamber to get us off that bit of beach, we've reached Snab Point behind me there. As you can see, we're back on the trail now, although the beach starts again on my left. Somewhere up ahead of us, not too far, is Eagle Rock. I have no idea what Eagle Rock is, but I think we're going to find out. If it's obvious, of course, it may not be obvious. According to the OS map, I am at the point that is referred to as Eagle Rock. It's also called Hunter's Lodge, with a little building symbol on the map. So I'm wondering if there was once a structure where I'm now stood. There is this little rock right off the point, and I've no idea what those birds are on it, but again, I'll have a look on Google. There we go. There is our mystery of why it's called Eagle Rock answered. Over there is our desired destination, which is Cramond Island. It is accessible when low tide. Unfortunately, I think we're pretty much at high tide now, so we're not going to be getting across. And just down the other end of the beach is the village of Cramond, although there is a river between it and us. So we need to go back upstream, I think, for about maybe a kilometre or so to find the bridge to come back down. And there, over the other side of the River Almond, is our destination, the village of Cramond. And very pretty it is too. Our walk up from the beach at Cramond has been disappointing. It's mainly been a farm track through some open fields, although we are now back against the river, which is in quite a deep gorge off to my left. The road is up ahead. It looks like quite a busy road, but hopefully we'll be across the bridge and back onto something a bit more pleasant to walk along. Luckily for us, we get to cross the Almond River over the old Cramond toll bridge, which is what I'm assuming that translates to. It would appear that the bridge is now closed to road traffic, which is good. But you can probably hear the traffic on the A90, or I think it's the A90, off to my right. I'm pleased to say that the walk back down the other side was a lot nicer. And here, the sound of the weir is drowning out the sound of the road, which is pretty cool. We're actually on the River Almond walkway, which will take us into Cramond. And hopefully, we can find a pub and a pint. Apparently the river did suffer quite badly from industrial pollution, but it has made a good recovery, and it is now very popular for trout fishing, along with swimming, the Scots are hard, and kayaking. The industrial pollution may have cleared, but unfortunately not the noise pollution. That was a pretty crap diversion. In fact, diversion's a strong word. There was a barrier and a stop sign. So once we walked off the path, there were no other directions. So I think we went quite a long way round, albeit through some nice, pretty residential streets in Cramond. But we're back on the river, and I think we've got a half-mile to go. We have arrived at the river outfall for the Almond River at Cramond. It looked pretty from the other side, and it looks even prettier from this side. The causeway over to Cramond Island, of course, not accessible with the tide in. Maybe another time. Right, let's go and find a pub. Having enjoyed a pint at the Cramond Inn, we're now having an ice cream. It was a twin flake ice cream, but they've long gone. Unfortunately, we've got quite a long walk, 40-minute walk to get the bus. There are ones a bit nearer, but we'll have to wait longer. So yeah, a bit more of a walk, but I called this the end of the video for today. Stats, I think about 9.5 miles so far. So we'll stick another 1.5 miles on top of that. So 11 miles total. Yeah, good day. Did we enjoy the walk?
We enjoyed the walk.
You enjoying the ice cream?
Loving the ice cream.